Just to kind of recap what's going on, Deontay Lee Murray of Compton has been charged with shooting two Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies as they sat in their car. This was an ambush situation, and we have Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez. She's live with the latest developments. She's been following this case the whole time. Christina, what's going on?
Well, I can tell you right now, you might see behind us, there's a large group of protesters in front of the sheriff's office. They're actually here every week because they are protesting against the district attorney. In this case, they have heard about this arrest. Nobody is commenting officially on it, other than to say that they wish that prosecutions for officers were as quick. So that's what's going on behind us. In terms of Deontay, he is sitting right now, his bail set at over $16 million at the jail up the street, where he has requested to be changed from because he is claiming that he's being abused at the jail by deputies. As you said, he is being charged not only on the ambush for the deputies, but also on the shooting, and you saw the story, how they linked them on that carjacking where he shot at that driver, injuring him in the leg. He's also facing attempted murder for that at this point. And I don't see him, he does face life in prison if guilty on all the charges. So that's the latest on that at this point.
Christina, what are you hearing from those protesters out there? I can hear kind of the chants behind you right now.
Well, again, keep in mind this is a protest that goes on here every week, and it is not a much larger group than usual. But what they are saying, they're protesting against all what they see as an ongoing problem with law enforcement, not only sheriffs but LAPD out here and around the nation. When they arrest African American people. In many of those cases, people end up dead. And what they're saying is that it needs to stop. They actually have been doing these weekly protests for quite a while. Tonight, again, it does take on a different kind of meaning because of the arrest, but nothing official that they're saying that this man should not have been arrested. In terms of this, they're not really reacting officially.
Now, recently, Sheriff Alex Villanueva has kind of faced a lot of controversy. So how is he reacting to this decision along with the rest of the sheriff's department?
Well, I mean, the sheriff has a very difficult situation here in that he has a very bad relationship with the Board of Supervisors, which is who he supposedly answers to. Although if you ask him, he's answering to the people. They would like to see him go. He says he is not going anywhere. Some of the deputy involved shootings, including the Guardado case, which was in Compton. It was a young security guard that was shot in the back. The deputies say they saw him with a gun. The family and protesters, and there's been quite a few protests on that one, say that he never pointed a gun at investigators. For example, that has been a very, very controversial, one of many, out in Compton area. And what he says is to let these things be investigated before people take out and get out on the streets. The protesters are saying you shouldn't be investigating yourself. Somebody else should be investigating these things, and that's why they're asking for the removal of the district attorney, because she has to represent officers and at the same time prosecute them. The sheriff says that he's not going anywhere. He says they're welcome to protest like they're doing right now, as long as they don't go out and start trying to break anything or do any kind of violence, which we have not had out here in the last few weeks. Not from this group, the Black Lives Matter group, definitely.
Christina, we know this was a gang-related situation, so are you hearing of any other incidents coming from the gangs out there in Compton?
At this point, they're saying that he has connections with gangs. They don't know for sure if the gang is connected with the incident, the initial incident, which was that carjacking. I asked about, very specifically, about what was the motive on the deputy shooting, because the sheriff has said it was targeted at them because they are law enforcement. The district attorney is saying the same thing. But when I asked the investigators directly, they say we're not going to release that information. They believe at this point, though, I do know this, that he acted alone. He was not acting on the orders of a gang, not as far as the deputy ambush is going on. That he may have been acting out of his own anger at law enforcement, which there is plenty of out here. I mean, most they know that they're targets. They won't tell you in front of a camera, but they definitely tell us off camera.
Christina, you've covered a lot of cases at Fox 11, a lot of shootings. Does this feel unique to you? It was caught on camera. What's kind of your perception of this?
What seemed unique about this, believe it or not, was not necessarily the shooting, as horrible as it was and as unique as it should have been, but the aftermath was very difficult, because the moment the shooting happened, people nearby where those deputies were injured and trying to get, on the radio and call for help, there were people with cameras out, videotaping and making fun of them and saying you should die. I have never seen, I covered the riots in '93. I've never seen anything like that. And then after that, when they were transported to the hospital, there were people out there screaming that they should die. I mean, it was just really sad, because regardless of what you may feel about law enforcement, and what their actions of some may be or not, regardless what your position is in it, to wish anyone to die, to be in that kind of, and publicly and on social media and live on Facebook saying, laughing at them, I had never seen anything to that extent. That is new, and it does speak to the fact that as we continue in problems that we have seen here and elsewhere in the country for many years, the social media angle, an aspect of it, takes it to a whole new level.
Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez out there, thank you for doing all that great work out there. This is definitely a sad story that we will continue to follow. We appreciate you. Alrighty, so it looks like we have some more breaking news happening here. We